Was discovered by a visiting US entertainer while experimenting with a friend at a Johannesburg sound studio. He was born in Germany to a South African mother and a British father. That's talented musician, singer, songwriter and rapper Desmond John, who first made a name for himself in late 2015 when he released his debut and self-penned single, All For Us. John, who has just released his brand new melody, You Don't Have to Worry, joins us from our Sea Point studios to tell us more about his musical journey. A very good morning to you, John, and welcome to Morning Love. Thanks for joining us.
Morning there. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me. It's quite early for me, I'm not going to lie, but I'm up. I'm here.
Oh, please. A musician needs to exercise his vocal cords early in the morning, so we're helping you. John, tell me, where did it all start for you? Where did this love for music begin? When did the bug bite you?
Yes. Well, the bug bit me properly when I was about 13 or 14. That's when I really got into it. I'd always been passionate about music, but it had only really become a viable career option at about 13 or 14. And like you mentioned earlier, I was found at 15 in a studio in Johannesburg through a mutual friend. And I went to America. I started learning, growing as an artist, and it's really just grown from there.
And how?
Something quite exciting.
And how does football fit into this whole journey? I mean,
football. Well, before I got into music, I wanted to be a footballer. That was always the dream. So I've always wanted to be in entertainment. And it was really at kind of the time, 13, 14, when football started becoming difficult, I started expressing myself through music. And I then decided to give that up and then go into music. So football is kind of the catalyst to all of this, I guess.
Now, Desmond, just take us through your childhood. You were born in Germany, as we mentioned, to a South African mom and a British dad. It's quite an interesting dynamic, and you've traveled quite extensively as well. Your family dynamics are quite interesting. How has any of that sort of played into shaping you as a person and as an artist?
It's definitely had a big impact on me. I've been able to get a globalized outlook on the world because I've been able to travel and be exposed to different people, cultures, and all that type of stuff. That's had a huge influence on my music because I try not to, sound like I'm from anywhere. I just want to have a global sound, and I think being able to travel and be around all these international people has definitely helped that and shaped that.
Now, we spoke about how you were discovered when you were 15 by this mutual friend here in Johannesburg. But I mean, you've also traveled to the US. You've done quite a lot of interesting things. Let us in on that. I mean, you're quite young. You're discovered at 15 and then you jet off to America. What were you doing? Were you studying? What was going on?
Well, I took a 2-year sabbatical from school, so I wasn't doing any schooling for the 2 years. I was traveling between South Africa and the States, and also I was in London recently, but mainly in the States. So I was in Atlanta, and pretty much that was me working closely with a lot of American producers, and it was kind of an artist development stage for me. It was just really when they found me and saw potential, and they then started grooming me and teaching me, just trying to make me a better artist, pretty much. So I think traveling back and forth between the States and South Africa has really helped shape that. But I've also been spending a lot of time recently in the UK. So I was in London a few months ago doing a performance, and I'm also going on tour there at the end of January next year for 2 weeks. So that's going to be my first tour. I'm going around colleges and coffee houses around the UK. So that's all very exciting. I think I'm doing 12 shows in 19 shows in 12 days, I think. So it's going to be quite a hectic schedule.
Well,
and that's what I'm busy preparing for right now as well.
Well, you should never again complain about early mornings because your schedule from now on is going to be super crazy. Now, when you look back at your debut... It's going to be
way worse.
Yeah, definitely. When you look back at your debut self-penned single, All of Us, what do you think you did right that has earned you the type of recognition that you've received?
Yes, no, for sure. I think that song was the beginning. I did release when I was 16, so that was really my first work. That was the first stuff that I'd done in the States and the first song I wrote. And that kind of got the ball rolling because I sang and I rapped on that song, and that's kind of what's helped shape my sound and bring my sound together. So that was the start of it all. It was all for us.
Speak
and
to
it
us also.
It was also just honest and real at the time. It was quite raw.
Okay, Desmond, speak to us about your latest offering, You Don't Have to Worry. Let us know who worked with you on this project, and how would you describe the sort of sound that is in this offering?
Yes. So the first different thing is with this single is that it's self-produced. It was written and actually the first scratch vocal that was ever recorded, I have this small bedroom studio, so it was actually all written there. And I wrote it as a guitar ballad on my guitar. And I took it to a producer, Kosher Studios, which is where I work in Cape Town. By the way, big shout out to them. So I was working there with a producer and he liked what he heard, so he took it and produced it out. And I released that about 4 weeks ago. And I'm excited about this one because it's the first real song that I've done completely by myself.
And when's the full album coming?
So I'm proud of this.
When is the
full album? So there's an EP coming next year in April. And there's another single coming out in 7 days' time, actually. No, 6 days' time. So that's what's on the horizon for now.
All right, Desmond John, thank you very, very much for your time as talented musician, singer, songwriter, and rapper Desmond John. Just speaking to us about his new single, You Don't Have to Worry, or YDHTW. Now, the young man draws his inspiration from legends such as Michael Jackson, Bruno Mars, Babyface, Justin Timberlake, and Drake, among others. Time for a quick break. We'll be back.